Hello everyone and welcome back to JB's Total Gaming, where today I have a indie game wrap-up that I am really excited to bring you with some really interesting and unique games. First of all, we're going to be talking about Stories Untold. Stories Untold is available on Steam right now for $9.99, and it is a collection of 4 text adventures. Now here's the deal, this isn't going to be for everyone. If you're old enough to remember text adventures like me, then this may be appealing to you, and if you're not, then it may be an interesting look back at some, I don't want to call it nostalgia if you're not old enough to remember it, but at some of the ways that games used to be played. Text adventures can be super interesting, and they're a little bit tricky to get used to at first. So if you haven't played one, getting used to what to type in and try to figure out how to do things can be a little bit tricky. But these aren't traditional text adventures. I mean, they are, but they're also not. It's kind of hard to describe. Let's just say these subvert your expectations a little bit and how they are played. Right now I'm looking at Cool Ghost playthrough of it. Want to give some credit to them, to the footage we're showing. And, well, let's just say if you're unsure if this is something that may interest you or not, here's the reason to go check this game out. There's a free demo right now. I don't know if it'll continue to be available or not, but I know it's available right now, of the first of the 4 chapters. This one is called The House Abandoned, and that's the one we are looking at right now. So, again, these are games that you have to be able to go into this knowing this is a text adventure. It can be a little bit tricky figuring out what to type in, what to do, but if you're willing to do it, then I highly suggest at least checking out the demo of the game. It's free, you can go download it right now, and let's just say, I don't want to give anything away, but this game, all 4 of them are really meant to subvert your expectations, to kind of play with the player a little bit. I don't want to straight up call them horror games, but they are creepy, definitely. So like I said, go ahead and check it out right now. There's nothing to lose. Play the free demo, see if it looks interesting to you, and if it does look interesting, go ahead and purchase the full package for $10. Alright, next up we have What Remains of Edith Finch. You won't see a price on this game yet because it doesn't release until April 25th. But I like to do these indie wrap-ups whenever I can and piece together some games that might be interesting. And while this game isn't quite out yet, it'll be out in about 10 days or so, it is a game that, from everything I've heard about it so far, sounds really interesting. The concept of this game is there's this giant house that continues to be built on by this odd family, that whenever a family member dies, they leave their room there, and their room kind of tells the story of that family member and their death. Again, this is a game that isn't necessarily going to have a whole bunch of traditional gameplay. It's more of a story-based game. I imagine there's some puzzles and things, maybe a little bit of creepiness, but it is certainly a game that looks interesting and might be worth checking out when it comes out in about 10 days. Alright, last but not least, we are taking a look at The Sexy Brutale. Now, don't go away just yet. It may be an odd name, and this game isn't going to be for everyone, but for those who can enjoy this type of game, I highly recommend this game. It is $20 on Steam right now, and right now we're taking a look at some of Jim Sterling's footage playing the game. I really don't want to give away anything of the game. I'm going to talk about it really briefly, and then show a snippet at the end to help you decide if this may be interesting or not, because this game doesn't have a demo right now. First of all, this again doesn't have normal traditional gameplay. It is a bit of a puzzle game, if you will, where the idea is you're kind of going around this hotel where the staff is murdering everybody, and your job is to try and find ways of preventing that. Now, you're not going to be able to prevent that the first time most of the time, because there is a bit of a Groundhog Day effect going on in this game, where you can reset time at any point that you want to and restart the day, and eventually getting through the game, figuring out all the puzzles, saving all the people from being killed. Now, this is just kind of the tutorial thing. We're not really giving anything away here, and it is a very odd concept. So the idea is you can't directly intervene. If you go into a room where the staff is about to do something, basically they have this mask that attacks you. So the idea is you have to indirectly figure out ways to solve these things. This game is kind of a puzzle game, kind of an adventure game. It's not really a point and click in the traditional way. It's not about necessarily picking up every object and rubbing them against each other until something happens. The game isn't designed to be incredibly difficult as far as the puzzles. Keywords and dialogues are highlighted in order to give you ideas. It's more about the joy of figuring out the puzzle. So again, this is not traditional hack 'em smash 'em gameplay. So if that's something that doesn't appeal to you and the idea of this kind of slower pace doesn't appeal to you, then then that's fine. But it's a game that has, it doesn't have any voice acting, and there are a couple of voice songs, but it has, I think, a really interesting aesthetic, a really nice soundtrack to it, and just interesting gameplay meant to, challenge you, but not necessarily in a traditional puzzle way, just to piece everything together. And let's just say the overall style of this game, as far as the sound, the look, and just the feel of figuring everything out, is something that I find pretty fascinating and highly recommend. Now, what I'm going to do right now is we're going to end the part where I'm talking about it. I've shown you 3 indie games that look interesting, one that you can demo right now, one that you can get right now, and one that is coming out soon. But for this one, I'm going to actually show you the footage that Jim Sterling showed at the end of his video. So the idea is here, if you don't want to see any potential actual spoilers for the game, then go ahead and stop now and check out any of these games if you want to. But if you're not sure about this game, the trailers don't necessarily do the best job of giving you an idea how this game works. I'm going to show you one of the death scenes in the game, not the solution of how to solve it, but just the death scene to give you kind of a vibe of exactly what I'm talking about how the feel of this game is something that I find really fascinating.
I was in your arms, crushing grip of steel. Once you had all my heart. Lord knows where that is now. Now I see through you as though you're made of glass. And it's too late. Oh, what a waste of time.